Hey, I'm Chase, and this is All Things Random. Today, we're talking about 22-1B Tactical Guardian Gloves. Now, these Guardian Gloves are cut resistant level 5, which I believe is the highest cut resistant level. They are cut resistant, not puncture, so technically you can take a knife and cut them, but you can't stab through them. You're still going to get injured. Just cut, not stab. But to do this test, we got to go out to the range because these are built for patrol and military, which means you should be able to shoot guns with them. But really, how well can you? Well, let's go out to the range.
So here are the 22-1B Tactical Guardian Gloves. Now, I had a pair of these Guardian Gloves about a year and a half ago. I wore them for over a year. Now, these things are built extremely well. Very good quality, very well made. The only thing that caused my other Guardian Gloves to basically break down was something that they already fixed. However, there are pros and cons with fixing what they fixed, and that is the tips of the index finger and the thumb. Now, prior on the old Guardian Gloves, these were cloth fingertips, so you could access your iPhone or smartphone through the touchscreen. Now, this didn't have any type of cut resistance, and neither did this, because you had to be able to go into your phone. Now, the downside of that was, over time, because it was thinner material, it was more like this, but slightly thinner, it would slowly start to fray, and then I did a shotgun qual, shoving shotgun rounds into the shotgun during a shotgun qual, and it ripped open my entire thumb, and I tossed them. But for a year's worth of wearing, taking these on, taking them off, shoving them in my pocket, everything else, they held up very well. Most gloves on patrol with police or in the military last about 3 months. Sheer fact these things lasted for a year made me want to buy another pair. And I'm glad that they upgraded the thumbs and the fingertips, because I'm sure they'll last a lot longer. Now, the draw to this. Now, I can already see that because there's a thicker tip, the issue is that it's going to be harder to feel your trigger pull when shooting. But we're going to test that out. We're going to see how they work on the range when firing guns and see if they're just as good as the other ones. Now, if you look here, these are cut sleeves. Now, these cut sleeves I got off of Wish, and I can tell you that I don't trust these like I trust these. So we're going to test these out on the bench itself. We're going to cut through, see if they're cut resistant. These are supposed to be cut resistant. Now, the reason why I ordered these is because if these are cut resistant, this is a very good addition to your patrol uniform, and let's explain why.
So the reason I think these are great for patrol is because a lot of cops are more likely to get cut with a knife than shot with a gun. And if you just Google search people getting cut with knives or cops getting cut with knives, you will see that even a dull blade can change the rest of your life. It can cause permanent mobility in your arms, your hands, and anything else. If you see, the dullest knife can still fillet your skin like the sharpest razor you've ever had. With enough force, the dullest knife is gonna chop you up. Now, with that, you can have the most training in the world, and if someone pulls out a knife and comes at you, you could retention shoot like a lot of cops are trained. However, most likely people freeze and they put up their hands. So that's why, for me, I would say get these sleeves that you could put underneath your uniform, as well as these cut-proof knives, because if you could pull up your hands and stop the threat, grab the knife, or at least deflect for a moment while you get away and then retention shoot, you're gonna be better off.
Now, I'm a huge fan of the way these things fit. They fit nice and snug and close to the hands. I feel like I have a lot of room to move. I don't feel like it's too tight. I also don't feel like I wouldn't have control if I grabbed onto somebody.
So the initial draw with these gloves is no big deal. Like I said before, the issue that I felt and foresaw was trigger control, and that is 100% true. Now, before we go any further, I have to tell you that I was very depressed with the way the trigger control handled with the index finger of my glove. And I'll break it down for you. Well, The thicker the tip of the glove is, the harder it is to feel both the trigger pull and trigger reset when you're making a shot. Now, if you just want to draw and you're in a tense situation, you could easily shoot in that direction, fine. But if you want to take a controlled shot, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to take a lot of training to do it. That is a downside.
So like I said, I don't trust these because they came straight from China. So I have different levels of sharpness from dull, sharp, and extremely sharp. So I'm just gonna cut it here on the bench and we'll test it out, because if I put it on my arm, I know that I'm gonna probably get cut. So we'll do the first one, just do a quick run across. That's not bad. Actually, I'm relatively surprised. It makes me nervous.
Oh yeah.
No, it cut through, but it's not going through. That's the big thing, is not going through the other layer.
There, because I didn't stop recording.
And that was the hardest I could have cut.
Yeah, you would have felt it.
Maybe not barely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worse. That's literally worst case scenario.
Oh yeah.
So it got through the outer layer right here and a little bit of the inner layer.
Now, overall, I would give these gloves a 7 out of 10. I like the fact that you can grab a knife with them. I like the fact that most knives aren't super brand new, razor sharp, but they're pretty sharp, and this thing is going to allow you to grab, block, whatever else with confidence if you're in a tense situation. And if you need to do a pat search or something like that, you can still sort of articulate the items inside the pockets and still sort of feel what they are. Again, a downside would be the fact that the trigger control is very poor in the glove, which is why I'm not giving them a 9 or a 10 out of 10, a 7 out of 10. Other than that, they're extremely comfortable, and I wear them in wintertime, so they keep my hands pretty warm. I've worn them in the summertime, and they don't overheat my hands, so they're almost the perfect level of protection. Now, if you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below and leave a comment of the content you would like to see next. Until next time.